Hey everyone, this is Jonathan from Jews for Jesus. I'm going to share with you a fact about Sukkah, or the Feast of Tabernacles. One of the main features of Sukkot is the building of these small booths called Sukkahs. But the question is, why do we build this? What's the point? And the answer is found in Leviticus chapter 23, verses 43, where God tells his people, "Build the Sukkahs so that the children of Israel may know that I had them live in booths, or Sukkahs, when I brought them out from the land of Egypt." The building of booths was to remind the people of Israel of the difficulties of their wilderness wanderings. It reminded them of the sapping heat and the terrible thirst and their great vulnerabilities. It reminded them of the temporary and fragile nature of their lives and of their great dependence upon God. So the building of the Sukkah is in many ways a sobering experience because it reminds the builder of the difficulties his ancestors have faced. But in building the Sukkah, we don't only remember the many small tents that made up the camp of Israel, but we also remember the big tent that stood amidst these hundreds and hundreds of small tents. And this was, of course, the tabernacle, the place in which no person dwelt, but in which God himself dwelt. In other words, amidst these great hardships that the Sukkah reminds us of, we see that the people did not endure them alone. Instead, the God who rescued and redeemed them from Egypt walked through these difficulties with them. He descended from his throne in heaven and was made manifest amongst his people. He identified with them and was with them during the pain of the wilderness wanderings. And what does this picture point us to? Does it not point us to God's ultimate manifestation amongst us, the person of Yeshua? John 1:14, "And the Word became flesh and dwelt," or tabernacled amongst us, "and we have seen his glory, the glory as of the only Son of the Father, full of grace and truth." The Sukkah ultimately points us to Yeshua. It reminds us of his taking upon himself human form and knowing the same weaknesses and temptations and sufferings that we know. And it reminds us that in our own wilderness wanderings, that we're not wandering alone, but that our Lord is always with us. This is one of the many things that the Sukkah, or Sukkot, the Feast of Tabernacles, teaches us. Chag Sameach. Have a great Sukkot, everyone.